Welcome to Marriage Unmasked. Today we're talking about when date night isn't fun anymore. And we have experienced this so many times. And I honestly think it brought on a lot of shame, for me at least.
For me too, yeah.
Because it was like, why can't we even have a date night that's fun? Like, you kind of get this idea that if you prioritize date night, then everything should go great. And man, we've had so many painful dates and trips. And we'll share more in a little bit, but I want to talk to you if you aren't even like going on dates. That's also something that's painful when that's been a part of your relationship that's just gone, where you maybe feel so busy or you feel like you just can't do it, whatever obstacles. It's very easy to let our thoughts take us to like, no, we can't do that because of this. We can't find a babysitter. We don't have enough money. Like, there's so many things we can come up with, or just like, I don't feel connected to him, so I don't want to spend time with him or with her. And this is for you too. Sometimes when you do actually plan a date, and especially if maybe it doesn't happen very often, you're looking forward to it, right? It feels really special. And so you plan it all out, you're looking forward to it, but instead of it being fun, playful, something different, where you're feeling more connected, you're left feeling disconnected, confused. It's like silent, maybe it's awkward. It's like, what in the world happened? And that's where that shame can come in, like, there's something wrong with us. And I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. This is information, and it really can help us to learn important things about what's going on deeper.
It's probably happening more often than you even realize. I mean, we often think other people are always going on these great dates, and yet a lot of times this does happen. This is a very common thing that we've heard from other couples too, that date night, it can be really challenging. So this has happened many, many times, as Cara mentioned, in our own relationship. And one time in particular, we planned to go hiking and then go out to dinner, which is a pretty common date for us to do something like that. And we picked one of our favorite places to hike. Started off on the hike. We'd been a little bit disconnected, and yet we were excited. We were both excited.
Yeah, I think that when your life is busy, and our life is busy and was busy then, and we have 5 kids, obviously, and a lot of stuff going on. And so our date night is always something that we look forward to, and we've prioritized it for practically forever.
Oh, for a long time, yeah.
Like, we've just like, this is a priority and we're going to make it happen. And so we always look forward to it.
Yes.
And we were again.
Yes. We were looking forward to it. And it started out, we're just like hiking, we're walking together, even holding hands, like things were fine at first. And usually I try to bring some questions or something for us to talk about that we can connect over and that we can have fun with. And this time I really didn't bring any questions or some way for us to connect. So we just kind of started just talking about stuff.
And the reason that he usually brings questions is because that was our solution to a problem that we've had over and over again, which is when we have carved out space where we can just kind of connect, what comes up is all the stuff that's been buried. I'll bring up what's going on in my heart, which usually, especially at this time, it was like, I'm feeling like I have to carry this all. I'm feeling so bogged down by being the one who's managing it all, fixing it all, carrying it all, running it all. And you said you were going to do this or that, and you still haven't. I'm kind of venting out. I'm feeling so tired. I'm feeling so drained. Like, my heart's cry is really like, please hold me and help me and lead. But that is not how it comes out. It comes out more in like, you didn't do that, you and it comes out more in a way that really gets his defenses up immediately.
Right, and that's what was happening, because I think I was under this impression that I can just wing it. I can just bring up some stuff. I probably have a couple good questions up my sleeve I could ask. And so I start bringing some small talk in or something surface level, and that lasts for a little bit, and then we kind of go quiet, and then like she said, she feels all this stuff on her heart, and it starts to come up, it starts to come out. Yeah, it doesn't come across, like, I need something from you. I need you to hold me. I need you to take care of me. To me, a lot of times it's come across as an attack. I'm excited about this date. We're going to have this fun time. We're going to connect. And then all of a sudden, it seems like she's listing off all the ways that I'm not enough. This laundry list of things that I'm not doing very well, that I'm not handling, become the whole topic of the date. Instead of this being fun, now I feel attacked. okay, this is really a session for her to vent all of her frustration at me. When she starts venting these things, then I take it personally and I look at it as an attack on me and what I'm not doing and who I'm not. And that's what happened on this occasion. I went into a shame spiral and I just started to shut down and withdraw. And before that, I'm defending myself. So I'm getting really defensive. I'm arguing with her about things that she's bringing up. I'm saying, no, that's not how it is. Well, I was going to do that the other week, and then this came up, and I didn't do that. We're getting into almost an argument back and forth about details, and it starts to kind of melt down, and then eventually I went into like a shame spiral. I just kind of shut down, and I just stopped talking.
Mm-hmm. And where I'm like hoping to be heard and hoping to like somehow get him to change, right? Get him to step up. Now I'm left feeling unheard and depressed and feeling lonelier than ever. Like, yep, it is still all on me. It puts us in this very unhealthy dynamic.
Yeah, it's outside of the masculine feminine dynamic in
sure.
a big way. Because I'm kind of crumbling, I'm shutting down, I'm not stepping into strength. I'm really getting weak in that moment rather than strong. A lot of times when a man is like taking things personally and focusing all on himself and kind of playing the victim card, that is what's happening, is he's stepping out of that masculine energy and more into a weak frame of mind. And then she's trying to lean into that and there's nothing to lean on to. So then she feels like she has to like fix that, or she has to like kind of get him out of that. And that's the last thing you want on a date when you're supposed to be having fun and it's supposed to be this connecting experience. And in that shame, I started to really argue with her and I started to get really even more intense. And then that really turned her off. And then she needed some distance and some time and some space.
Yeah, I mean, because I always have hope that like the date will turn around. Okay, we'll just be able to quickly fix this.
I do too, actually.
Yeah. And so then he's just like constantly arguing with me and making excuses and saying all this unhelpful stuff. And because I've riled him up. And so I'm like losing it. And so I started just like power walking like way ahead of him, which he didn't like.
Right,
and
it seems like she's leaving me in the dust, and it's like, okay, well, that's great.
And I needed space, and I wasn't asking for that either. Right. We went on like that for a while, where I was way ahead of him, and he was behind me, and then I looked behind me at one point, and he was nowhere to be found. And so I was on my own hike.
She's
alone.
A power walker, too. She walks fast. Let me tell you, she walks very fast.
When I want to.
When she wants to. And I also had just kind of numbed out in an unhealthy way in that shame spiral. I realized I had made some mistakes here. I had hurt her and I had caused her some pain, and I took a break on the walk. I just kind of sat there and felt it for a moment. And that wasn't necessarily the healthiest thing either, because now we're really disconnected. Now I'm further behind and she's way ahead, and we lost each other in the hike, and we didn't know where the other one was. And there's a lot of trails in this place that we like to hike.
When I realized I was alone, I think it was kind of good because it did give us both a chance to process our emotions. And I did. I was, going through my emotions. I was so frustrated. I was angry. I was so disappointed. That was probably the number one. Like, I was so disappointed. Like, oh my goodness, this happened to us again. Like another date gone south. We had such high hopes for it to go well, and I cried a bunch, and then I was just taking stock of like what was going on for me. I had some thoughts about him that were completely unhelpful, and so I was like, okay, what else could be true? And God really helped me here. I was asking him about it too, and he just gave me this thought of like, you're both hurting right now and in need of love. And I was like, oh, yes, that's so true. I can totally see that Adam would be hurting. I'm definitely hurting. And so that made me turn around and want to try to find him. Well, there's no way I'm going to find him. There's miles and miles and miles of millions of hiking trails. Okay, maybe not millions, but there's a lot of hiking trails. So then when I realized I'm never going to find him, I just started walking back to the car, because by now it had been like an hour and a half. And so I hiked all the way back to the car, thinking he was going to be there, waiting for me. And I got there and he's not there. And so that like kind of triggered something in me right away too. Like, oh my goodness, it's been a long time. Like, and we were going to go eat supper. So I was like, well, we have to leave. If we're going to go have dinner, like we have to go. And so I had my phone. And so I texted him and I just like, I'm at the car. And you responded and you said like, well, like I'm not or something. And so I just sat there and waited. I changed my shoes. I took my hiking boots off, changed into like what I was going to wear for dinner, and just kind of waited there for him. And I just kind of started to get even more upset as I'm waiting. And I think we had reservations even. And so I'm like, we're going to, like, why would he not be keeping track of the time? So I was getting really even more upset by that point. But I was like, okay, I'm going to see what he does when he gets back. If we, go to dinner, I'll be open to that and I'll be okay. But when he got back, he just got in the driver's seat and went home.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had processed a bunch too, but I thought we were in such a deep disconnection, there was no coming back. Rather than, again, stepping in and really, I mean, I didn't even notice that she had changed her shoes and things, that she was like ready to go to dinner. And if I would have noticed that, I would have opened up a conversation. And instead, I was still very much in that shame spiral. I was a failure. It failed her. I failed myself. I failed this whole date. And I was really quite depressed about it, to be honest, and very discouraged and really just checked out. And so when I get back to the car, I just get in and I made an assumption. And this is the thing, like with us as guys, and I think sometimes women too, is you just assume. You make an assumption that there's no coming back, or you make an assumption that I can't fix this. You have so much more power than you give yourself credit for. You don't even try then to repair it. You don't even go after that, because in your mind, the thought that you're choosing is, there's nothing I can do about this. And I think that's a common thought, and guys I work with often talk that way to me. Like when they're talking about marriage struggles or they're talking about a fight with their wife, there's just nothing I can do. I'm just not enough. She's just this, and it's this story that you get stuck in. I was stuck in that story at that time, that there was nothing I could do to change this. And so I just went in the car. I just assumed that we weren't going out for dinner anymore, assumed that she didn't want connection with me at all, and just drove us home. I don't know what happened when we got home. I mean, we got home.
No, I went to our room. I cried a bunch. I watched a movie alone that night because I was like, well, I'm still going to try to have a little fun for myself. So I'm going to watch a movie alone, which wasn't really that fun, but at least distracted me a little bit from the pain, which I'm not recommending that. But I was just really, really sad and disappointed. And it actually took us a couple days that time to come back together. And what we needed to do was really have a conversation where we talked about what each of us was feeling, validating those emotions, and really talking about why that even happened. Which the big part of that, the big takeaway was that before we had even gone on the date, there was disconnection. Yeah. We weren't really thriving as a couple because, right, I'm feeling so much heaviness. I'm feeling so weary. And he is kind of checked out of what his wife is even needing or feeling. I think,
I wasn't attuned to what Cara was going through. And I had my own things that I was dealing with as well. My own pressure, my own stress, my own whatever. But I wasn't attuned to what the relationship needed, and I wasn't attuned to what Cara needed from me at home, and things that I had left as a burden on top of her. And so, yes, it was kind of like a time bomb just waiting to go off. And then it did, because we were on a date and it was an opportunity to share these things, and it came out.
And that's often what happens, right? We think the date night is going to fix it. Okay, yeah, there's a little stuff between us, or we're not really connected. Well, we have date night, so that should fix it.
Right.
And yet often that blows it up.
Yes.
Right? We're told, prioritize date night and your marriage is just going to stay so strong. But checking the box, it does not necessarily equal, joy, connection. It just doesn't necessarily equal that. It reveals the level of connection that you already have. That's already there. It doesn't magically erase what's going on underneath the surface.
Which is something that I always thought. That's maybe what played into this dynamic somewhat, is I always had this assumption or this hope that the date night was going to solve the issues. It was going to solve the disconnection. And it's not to say that it couldn't necessarily solve some things, but you have to go through it in a way where you're actually connecting and you're talking through those things.
You have to address those things.
You have to address them, yes.
Otherwise, there's often this just like underlying resentment. There's this underlying tension. There's this underlying disconnection. And you better believe it's going to probably come out.
It's almost impossible to feel like having fun, feel like having connection, to get this light, playful energy going in a date with someone that you're feeling hurt by.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work. And I'm not saying that like especially for men, we don't want our emotions to lead us. We want to lead our emotions. Like we want to feel our emotions. We want to have those emotions, but we don't want to be led by those emotions. And so it's not to say that you can't change the energy on a date, that you can't like try to bring fun and bring some energy that is positive, and try to lead the way in that. But you have to resolve the underlying issues, or else it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna actually happen.
Yeah, you can't just try to throw a Band-Aid
Right.
of like a date or
Yeah,
like
you can't just kind of force it to happen when there's all these underlying things going on under the surface that you haven't addressed. So as a man, you need to address those. You need to talk through those things with your wife and really lead the way. In that scenario, if I would have led the way and actually talked through those things, we could have salvaged that date. We could have had a good connection, and we could have had fun, light, playful energy because we resolved those things.
A lot of times these deep stories are going to come out. Like, you don't see me. You don't value me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big one for men. Like, you don't value me or you don't respect me.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe opening up my heart to you. Those are some of these stories that are underlying, and we might not think that they're that big of a deal, or we're so used to them being stories and we think we can just plan a date and have fun. But those stories show there's a loss of emotional safety, and that's huge. When you feel judged or criticized or numb, misunderstood, unloved, unseen, whatever, those things matter, and it puts your nervous system on edge, where your brain is kind of going into self-protection. What else is he going to do to hurt me? How else is he going to not see me? How else is she going to disrespect me? It's just feeding the stories. Your brain will look for ways because it's trying to protect you from more pain. And so none of that is going to create any fun. It just creates distance, and it will come out just like it did come out for us. And I'm sure you probably experienced this to some degree as well. And you guys are going to have to let us know, because we want to know that we're not the only ones who are going through it. And when I posted sometimes on Instagram, because I try to be as honest as possible about what's going on. And so even now we'll have a date night that just kind of goes off the rails. I've shared about it a little bit. And I get the messages, saying like, yeah, you're not the only one. That's happened to us too. And I think that's so helpful, guys. It's so helpful to be honest and real and open. Like, who decided that it's the best way is to pretend that your marriage pain doesn't exist? Like, it's just not helpful for anyone. It's not helpful for us to do that, and then you feeling alone. It's not helpful for you to do it, and then we feel alone, right? Let's just be real. So what might be going on under the surface here is that you're just not really in a season yet where you can just go out and have all these fun dates all the time. There might be a need first to prioritize healing and bringing safety for each other. That's so important, to have these honest conversations where there's safety and you can really express your emotions to each other and really express your hearts and be met with validation and love and compassion, instead of this, fighting back and forth and the defensiveness and all of that. When you're in that cycle, then the date night it's never going to be what it's meant to be.
It's actually more disconnecting than connecting at that point.
Sometimes these kind of issues come up with date night because also you don't know each other very well anymore. You might have been so disconnected and not realizing what the other one is going through or the growth they've been doing. Maybe one of you right now is inside restored or you're in refined and your wife or your husband is not. And so you feel like, yeah, I'm changing and I'm ready. Like, I know how to create safety for myself now. I don't need him to do things. I'm ready to have a date because I can come to it grounded no matter what he's doing. But he doesn't even know that. And so he's still thinking that you're going to explode at him and you're going to react. It's important to start regularly opening and connecting, right? Open your heart up again, connect, let them see you, get curious about them, and then hopefully they'll also get curious about you, or you can just share little bits of yourself now. And so you can start to get to know each other better and start to create that safety so that this is going to be a helpful thing to start incorporating these dates. If you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling that unsafety, if you don't really know them anymore, what do you do? I mean, I think one of the things, this can be really helpful, and I know we've done this too, where it's like you can redefine what a date night is. Maybe right now, date night is having these open, safe conversations. It's starting to get to know them a little bit better. You don't have to maybe necessarily even go anywhere. I know for a while we were having so many painful dates that I was like, I don't want to spend money anymore going these places. Like this one time, Adam got tickets for this super expensive thing that was
It was
not
actually
fun.
not fun at all. It was an overpriced experience that was just like nothing of like what you'd expect.
Yeah, and we came into it disconnected. So we didn't enjoy any of it. Not that we would have maybe anyways, but we would have maybe had fun and like played with it a little bit.
Yeah.
But we were in so much pain. We weren't even talking. We were like ignoring each other. And we spent so much money. And I was like, I don't want to do any more date nights.
We're spending all this money,
tons of money
just to be disconnected.
Yeah. Maybe right now the date night, it looks like just staying at home and reconnecting in some way, whatever that looks like, right? Not saying you should come with no plan, but
Just lower your expectations. Like if you have these high expectations of this fun connecting thing, then it's different. Now your expectations are, we are going to actually connect on this level, and we're going to resolve some of those things that have been underlying, that have been hurting us. You are having a conversation where you're both getting your emotions out on the table, and you're both validating each other, and then you're both going after repair and resolution together. Say what's really going on. Say what's going on in your heart. Say what's going on in your relationship. Share that information and do it in a loving way, in a kind way. So speaking the truth in love is always something that is important in these kind of conversations.
Yeah, and I want to encourage you to try this, to try going first. Go first in opening up. Go first in starting with honesty. And before that even happens, before you even start sharing, right? Let's say you set this date. Okay, this Friday we're going to stay home, but we're going to have some time to connect and just kind of share our hearts, share where we're at, how we're feeling. So you know that's coming up. And even before the date begins, you're grounding yourself, right? You're coming back to who you really are. Mm-hmm. This has been so powerful, because anytime we're acting out in pain, we're hurting each other, we're, doing things that are disconnecting, that's not because that's who you are. No, who you really are is you are a dearly loved child of God. You are safe. You are treasured. You are receiving abundance. Mm-hmm. That's who you really are. And when you come back to who you really are, then you pour that out, right? You pour that love out because you feel so loved. You are so in alignment with who you are, and it just comes out of you now. Yeah. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm in need of this, and I'm just so angry because he never does this, and I need him to do that, and right, we live in this other identity of lack, of trying to get things that we don't think we have, but you do have them. And so when we pour that out and we know what we have, joy overflows, and the energy shifts. Yep. And you can come to this conversation now and open your heart and pour out of this beautiful place. That's so important.
Yeah, it really is. So another thing that can help bring fun back into your dates again is to switch it up. Instead of going out for dinner every week or whatever it is go for a hike like we did. I mean, hopefully with a different result than ours. Like kayaking on the river. We've gone pottery painting, and we've had date nights home where we're painting pictures together, or we're doing a dance video or something. Like these are things that are fun. Do something playful, do something fun, do something unique and interesting, and go after some creativity in your date life again.
It changes the energy when you lean into something playful. Like when you try something new together, that's really connecting. Something that neither one of you have done can be very bonding, and it brings out like this childlikeness again in you, right? Especially if you've been married a long time, you've done
all.
Similar things. It brings in a new energy to try new things and to kind of do kid things, like go to a park and play on the swing set. Don't be afraid to do childlike things together and bring that joy back in too. I know a lot of times you see at dinner, like when we just think, okay, date night has to be going out for dinner. So many times you see people just on their phones separately. Like he's on his phone, she's on her phone. Dinner isn't always the best idea for a date night unless, like we talked about, you're in this really connected place and you're able to have like really beautiful conversations. Because otherwise, you maybe are numbing out. You're maybe distracting yourself on purpose because it's painful. It feels weird. It's awkward, whatever. So yeah, try something new. And I think another thing to add, and this was something that, was important for us even on the story we shared, is like ask better questions.
Yes.
Not just like, how was your day? Like Adam said, I started out by just keeping it surface level, and then it kind of faded to nothing, and he wasn't saying anything, and there's just this awkward silence. So not just the like, how was your day? I want to give you a couple questions that I think are going to be really helpful. One is like, what's been weighing on you lately? And I know that's a heavier question, but it can really help you to create safety for them and show them like, I care about you, you matter, and I want to hold this with you. So don't let it be like a downer, but it can just be a beautiful way to show them love and care. The second one is, what's something that you've been needing that I might be missing? I love that one because, again, it can be very connecting. It can give you the opportunity to show them, yeah, I want to meet your needs. And for you to share what's on your heart and share what you do need. And then the third one is, when do you feel closest to me? And that one can be really fun. That one can be inspiring again to enjoy that time again together. So we also have our marriage check-in book, which we love to do. There's actually a whole chapter that we're on this week, which is all about fun and joy. I think one of the questions the other day was like something about what else can you do fun, something like that, where we were just like brainstorming. Yeah, what else have we not been doing recently that would be fun to try? It's just brought in a kind of a different energy shift this week for us. Like, let's focus on fun and not just get stuck in the routine of life and the heaviness that can happen. And so our marriage check-in book has so many great questions. Once a week, we kind of give you some deeper questions to go through together. And that's specifically meant for like a date night. So we kind of hand you over some great questions every single week. And then there's daily questions too, to give you an opportunity to connect every day. So that is just a wealth of wonderful connecting questions. We'll put the link in the show notes for you to grab it. It's nice because it's kind of a journal too. So you get to look back at your memories and look back at the things that you answered. I love it. It's been so fun for us to do.
Yes. And then another thing that helps is to take the pressure off of having sex that night for that date night. I know a lot of times we put a lot of expectation on it. I know I have in the past. I think Cara has too, where we are expecting this date night to go really well, and then we're expecting to connect in that way as well later. That can cause even more disappointment and more disconnection when the date goes sour and things are like disconnecting, and then now that is also something that we're disappointed about. And so just encourage you to take the pressure off.
Yeah, especially if you're kind of in a painful, disconnected place, right? We are all about you having sex a lot. And I'm not ever going to try to say like, don't have sex on your date night or don't want that or anything like that. Because I do want you to want it. I want you to enjoy it every single date night. But if you are in a disconnected, painful place, to expect that or to pressure your spouse when they're not feeling safe with you, that could end up in even more disappointment, rejection, just more pain. And we don't want that. We don't want you guys to experience that. So just remember, connection isn't built in one perfect date night. This is not the answer, date night. It's just not. Take the pressure off, reschedule it if it goes off the rails. And I think it is so important. The passage in Song of Solomon, chapter 2, where it says, catch the little foxes that ruin the vineyards. That's kind of what we're talking about here, right? There's little things that can creep in. And we actually talked about that last week on the podcast, I feel like, with the 7 red flags that can ruin your marriage. Those are kind of what's underneath here when date night goes sour. And so we want to catch those things, and we want to be honest about them. We want to bring them to the light, right? Bring them to the surface. Don't keep them buried down. Bring them up to the light. Bring love to it, and let's heal those things. It's the things that we bury or we don't address that steal the joy, right? So many times the couples we work with, there's unresolved issues. There's unresolved hurt. Some couples we work with, they have been carrying the same hurt, the same resentment for 20 years. Unforgiveness or conversations that were avoided. These things are what are stealing the joy. And you can restore that joy. You don't have to stay stuck there. Small repairs, right? Seeing each other. Seeing your spouse for maybe what they're feeling and what they're going for too. As you see yourself. We want you to see what's going on in your own heart, bring healing to it, and then get that healing together as well.
like Cara was saying, you have compassion on yourself, you have compassion for what you've been going through, and you have compassion for your spouse and curiosity for your spouse and what they're going through, what they're experiencing, and getting back to connection again around those things is just incredibly important. And one thing that we offer right now that's really impactful, really powerful for you is couples coaching. We do couples coaching on a regular basis, and we're doing something really special right now where we are offering a $67 initial couples coaching for new clients. And I just think our couples coaching sessions are so powerful because it's this amazing opportunity to really address some of these things, some of these very things that we've been talking about in this podcast, even things from the last podcast where there's these underlying red flags that have been going on in your marriage for so long, and you get to address them in a safe place. It's so powerful to have insight from other people outside of the marriage who can help you talk through some of these pain points and help you have this kind of connecting conversation where, oh, wow, I see your heart now and I see what you're going through. And that can be very connecting, very powerful. And so we want that healing for you. So there are only a few limited spots for this. And this is a limited time offer. So if your marriage is a priority, then this is something you don't want to miss. The link is in the show notes. So click the link and grab your spot today.